Let's go, Rider Nation.
I'm ready. I'm ready. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. It's a feeling now. Get 'em high, get 'em low, 'cause we're dealing now. Everybody's giving it all they got, 'cause we're ready.
Welcome to the Piffles podcast, your Saskatchewan Roughriders fan podcast, happening a day early this week. So that's fun, right?
Sure.
Significant, if you will.
Yeah, we have significant major announcements to make on this show this week. Probably not as significant as what we've seen. Although it's been, with the Riders coming off their bye week, it's been a pretty quiet week. So this is probably going to be a really quick show. Not a lot to talk about. So
Nothing important.
hope you guys are ready to stretch this out as long as possible to hit our quota. So we'll see what we can do here. As always, you got me. I'm Alex.
I'm Steve.
And I really need to get my crayons out more often because I'm pretty sure these are honorable follows I got tonight after I got my crayons out.
I'm sure there's a pity one or two in there. You can give us a follow at Piffles Pod.
You can find me at Safamod.
And as always, I do not need nor want your pity follows at Greg on Sports. Just the honorable ones. Just the honorable ones.
Okay, so legit ones are fine.
Yeah.
Just not pity ones. Gotcha.
No.
It's terrifying that people follow you on purpose.
I know, right?
Thanks for listening wherever you get your podcasts, watching on YouTube or SaskTel Max TV on demand. Piffles Podcast is brought to you by Dairy Queen on Elphinstone Street and Sask Drive in Regina. We're also proud to be sponsored by Kathy Festian of Royal LePage Next Level, Churchill Brewing Company, District 306 Regina's Tactical Laser Tag Experience, Bigfoot Vodka, and Creasy's Premium Home Leisure Jacuzzi Spas. Okay, well, we got a major announcement on Monday from the CFL regarding changes to the game. It's time for the opening kickoff. And thankfully, the opening kickoff hasn't been affected because otherwise we'd have to think of a brand new name. But just about everything else. Obviously, the CFL making huge news with changes to rules, to the field itself. Where do you guys want to start? There's 6 things to talk about.
Let's go into it first of the basically how they dropped the announcement and the immediate panic and the level-headed speculation that was happening over the weekend.
Okay, so on Sunday, the CFL put out an email and a press release everywhere on social saying tomorrow morning or tomorrow on Monday, Commissioner Stuart Johnson is going to make significant announcements, major announcements about significant change to the CFL game. And things went wild from there. What could this be? 4 downs, the Americanization of our game, blah, blah, blah. And just everything was going off. And when I saw that, the first thing I thought of was why are they announcing it right now? This is the timing to me just felt weird. Why on a Monday? Why it felt like a knee-jerk reaction to something. And because we saw 2 headshots delivered by the Winnipeg Blue Bombers against Drew Brown in that game against Ottawa on Saturday, I thought it had to do something with some sort of player safety issue. Something about headshots, something about hits to the quarterback. I figured it was something to do with that because otherwise, if it's a rule change, well, you're not going to do something mid-season, in the season like this late in the year. That's something you'd wait for the off season when, the rules committee meets and they have a set time all the time that they, announce rule changes. So I didn't think there'd be anything like that. So it was really weird. And that just had me speculating on what it could possibly be.
Well, if the people could see our live Piffles chat that we had going on, we threw out everything from 1 division to the headshots to 4 downs to expansion to you name it. We talked about what possible items there would. I don't think we had many of these in there at all.
No.
We went through the entire gamut of emotions and possible changes. It was a real roller coaster. But again, like you said, I don't think we touched on many of the ones that they ended up doing other than the field size, but I didn't think they'd do that one.
Yeah, and then reports started coming in on Sunday evening that it was going to be the, be ready for the Americanization of our game. And people obviously didn't take kindly to that. You know how CFL fans are, right? First off, change is no good no matter what. But also, just because of the unique rules of the CFL does set it apart from every other football league in the world. So they wouldn't really mess with that, would they?
And that was my, like, I'm looking at it, and I had some hesitation, some fears, but I'm also going, we've all seen the XFL, the USFL, the UFL, the XFL again, the USFL again, the UFL again,
the AFL,
the AFL, like double AF. What, like, we've seen people try to get another 4-down football league going, and there's no buyers for it. I was talking to someone about this on yesterday when we were trying to figure this out as well, and I'm like, people like compared to wrestling, people like there's WWE fans and there's wrestling fans, and there's people that will watch everything. It doesn't matter if it's AEW, the local indie, TNA, WWE. But there's people that are strictly WWE fans. And that's the same way with the NFL fans. There are NFL fans, and then there's football fans. And if you're going to try to be a watered-down version of the NFL, like the USFL and all those other leagues have tried to be, the market for you is you're still going to get football fans, but you're not going to grow your game. And that's my biggest fear about them moving in that direction, is it's still going to look like NFL light no matter what they do.
So Monday comes around, 11 a.m. Saskatchewan time, stream hits, and Stuart Johnston takes the stage after Kate Biernes introduces him, and immediately starts talking about goalposts. Okay, well, where was this 6 years ago, whatever it was, when Cody Fajardo, West Final 2019, where was this then? Okay, so he starts talking about this. Well, clearly they're going to move the goalpost back. And then he started talking about the Rouge. And I was like, oh my God, they're actually going to do it. They are actually going to do it. And then my stream dropped out. Ironically enough, during that, I got an order online. It was my NFL merch that I ordered, Broncos stuff. So that came to the door during the CFL presser, which basically says, hey, we're moving to a lot of NFL style things. So the irony was there. So I basically had to just refresh social media to find out exactly what was going on. But let's get to it. The rule changes that were announced. So we'll start with the Rouge, because this is something that people have been talking about for years, and this is nothing new for what people want. The Rouge has been amended so that on a missed goal or a punt into the end zone, if it goes through the end zone, you're no longer awarded the single point, the loser point, because you're not trying to kick it through the end zone. Okay, has to be conceded. If it gets conceded, you still get the single point, and I'm perfectly fine with that. I love this amendment to the rule, especially on the missed field goals. We saw the Riders lose a game in Toronto last year that Steve and I were at because of a missed field goal going through the end zone without a chance to return it. That should never happen. That should never happen. And I'm tired of the whole, it rewards field position. That's garbage. I feel the same way about that Nathan Rourke feels about these rules. That is absolute garbage. It's BS. That's an awful reason. I don't care. If you can throw the ball through the end zone, should you get a point for that? Because you're close enough to be able to do it? No, you should not. So don't.
Okay, Michael Bishop would have been a hero for his entire career if that was a rule.
Get him to the 30-yard line and just let him chuck it up.
Yeah, he'd be leading the league in singles. He would have been the John Ryan of quarterbacks.
Yeah, to get rid of this, I love the amendment to the Rouge here. I love it 100% for it.
Can I actually make a probably unpopular opinion? I think they went too far.
Really?
I agree with the field goal. Get rid of the field goal one. I disagree if it ends up in the end zone on a punt and basically you got the returner just watching it roll out of bounds. I think if it's in the end zone, it has to be played, or it's a live ball. Because if you're just going to let a returner just kind of do that little going to watch it, and then like pray it rolls out of bounds, you're better off letting them play it.
But
So
if it's
I
like,
think
but
if a punt lands, if a punt rolls in or lands in, it should be deemed playable, and it has to be played.
but if it doesn't, like if you're the player and you're hoping that it goes through the end zone so that you don't give up that single point, and it's going and slowly going towards, and it dies like a yard before, you have to pick it up. Then what happens? You have to hustle just to kick it out. So all of a sudden you're having a bit of a fun moment there when everybody's probably crowded around 5 yards away from you, so they're not giving you the no yards penalty. And the second you touch it, they're coming right after you, and you got to get it past them. That could be a hell of a lot of fun.
Well, they make, like I said, they make it a live ball. If that's the case, make it a live ball.
Sure.
So
I'm going to disagree wholeheartedly with you on that, Greg. I think it should be something that has to be conceded. It forces the punter to aim his kick in the field of play. Yes, I understand sometimes you have those ones that roll for 30, 40 yards like Chris Milo of yesteryear. But those kicks are rare and few and far between. For the most part, guys want to return the ball. That's why you see plays like you did with what's his name in Winnipeg, right? He shouldn't have returned that. It's a 128-yard missed kick.
Yeah, but
they want to take that chance.
Yeah, but okay, but that there's a difference between that on a missed field goal, because once again, missed field goals, those guys are made for blocking, not for going downfield to make the tackle. It's a missed field goal return is easier than a punt return because you've got gunners going down the field immediately. The fact remains is you're going to, like, how many times do you see in the NFL the guys are waiting for that touchback? Like, they're just waiting for it to roll into the end zone. So in the NFL, they can down it. Are we going to be allowed to down it, or is the no yards going to come into play? Like, that's going to be the difference between the rules on this one. Are guys going to be able to down the ball at the 1 yard line if they get there, or is the no yards penalty going to come into effect?
Not yet. In years when the CFL is full on NFL light, like everybody's complaining about, then yeah, it'll happen. Not yet. Okay, we're talking about 2026. You're getting too far ahead of yourself because I have questions for you about all these rules after. But anyway, amending the Rouge. So that's happening in 2026, next season. The other thing that's happening in 2026 is that we're going to an automatic 35-second play clock. So it's going to kind of run similar to the NFL clock, where as soon as the play is whistled dead, that 35-second clock starts. Your play clock starts. So it should help kind of smooth out the game a little bit. Have it. I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. Not more efficient.
It's more consistent,
but it's going to be more consistent.
Better, more of a consistent flow.
Yeah, because if you look at it now with the 20-second play clock, the game clock keeps moving. The play clock doesn't start until the ref whistles it in, which can be 40 seconds at times. There was a game, I think, Greg, you talked about it a couple weeks ago. It was the Winnipeg Blue Bomber game, and it took them, 2 or 3 plays, and it took off like 3 minutes of game time, which is absolutely unacceptable.
Winnipeg is the best at this, and this is why I enjoyed this, because I'm like, this is going to screw O'Shea, and O'Shea is mad about this. He was actually on.
He hated all the rules changes.
He lost his mind on the Winnipeg had their coaches show tonight, and I saw some tweets out there that he is not happy about this. Which we at some point I hope we're going to talk about the fact that the league didn't tell anyone about this.
Oh yeah, that's coming up. Don't worry.
Okay, good. I haven't even looked ahead, so.
So anyway, I personally like this 35-second play clock rule change. Should help smooth things out, more consistency. I know a lot of people have questions about under 3 minutes. So There hasn't been a ton of clarification on that, but it sounds like each team is going to be given an extra timeout. So you can have 2 timeouts in the final 3 minutes, as opposed to you only get 1 now. And the game clock will stop. The play clock will keep going, and then the ref will whistle in the game clock. That's how what was it? Chris Edwards of TSN was kind of making it sound like. So we shouldn't see that problem that we see in the NFL in a game where the winning team has the ball and the other team's out of timeouts with 2 minutes left. You can just kneel down the clock. It shouldn't go that far here in the CFL. You'll still have to try and get a first down if you're the team that's leading, and then you can kill the clock after. But it's not as extreme as it is in the NFL.
And I think that to me is the biggest difference. And that was one of the biggest quick outrages from this announcement, other than the one that we'll get to in a minute. It was people were worried about that last 3 minutes, because that is one of the best parts of the CFL game, is where you can see 2, 3, 4 possessions from teams back and forth and lead change after lead change. Yes, it happens occasionally in the NFL. We all remember the Kansas City Buffalo playoff game, but that is more of a consistent thing in the CFL. And having that 35-second play clock where you have consistency all game long will open the game up to more plays. You're going to see more offense. You're going to see more plays per game without eliminating that, that inside the 3-minute kneel down that you do see down south. This might be my favorite of all the changes that they made.
And the other thing that's changing in 2026 is benches.
About time.
Which is more so for the 3 East teams, because it's Ottawa,
Toronto, and Montreal.
I think Montreal has their team. Are they on opposite? I don't remember.
No, they're on the same side. I'm sure. I think they.
So then it's all 4 East teams then.
Oh, the Hamilton's on the same. Okay, maybe Rainbow Montreal. I thought Hamilton was on.
Maybe Hamilton's opposite. I don't know, but anyway,
Hamilton's on the same side.
Okay, so it's all East teams then. All the benches will be on opposite sides of the field in 2026, which I'm all for. And there was a good point about not having to run as far to make substitutions.
This should have been done after Duron Carter went running through Campbell. Or, sorry, strutting through Campbell, like Rick Campbell. Like, this was always a thing that bothered me. And especially when you look at the way Dinwiddie has been very antagonistic in the last couple of weeks. Like,
I'm surprised there haven't been more fights.
Oh, yeah, there's going to be a fist fight on the sidelines here.
But if you notice, every time there is a fight, it's happening out east.
Yeah, well, they're on the same side.
Exactly. That's not by chance. When you have 2 40 player teams side by side and everything's happening all game long, that's where you're going to have that animosity. This is something, like you said, that should have been done years ago. It's amazing to me that it's been allowed to stand like this. There's a huge difference, and I understand, a couple of these stadiums are more built for soccer. You look at BMO Field. It's normal in soccer, but you don't have athletes coming and going nonstop throughout the game. You have 3 substitutions in a 90-minute period. You need to be able to have that fluidity, and they don't with the way the benches are set up now. And again, this was a positive move.
Now,
imagine Wally Buono waddling across the field, and instead of being right beside him, like, people would have been like really upset with Wally just standing on the same side, just screaming at the officials.
Now, I like this, but there is a downside to it for those East teams, and it has to do with advertising and marketing money. So on the camera side, or the way that the camera looks, you're seeing the empty sideline on the far side of the field. Well, they put advertisements up there, so teams are all of a sudden going to be out that little bit of revenue.
Okay, I understand.
If you're a business, you're paying for that to be seen almost every friggin' play.
Oh, right? And I understand that. However, the riders have sideline advertisement as well. So you're not going to have between the 30s and 30s. You're still, well, for a while. You're going to have a little further on the outside for 2026. 2027 is going to be a little smaller,
But that is something to look at, though, right? Like, it's something that not a lot of people are thinking about. That there is a potential for loss of revenue. Will they lose sponsors because of it? Probably not. But if I'm a sponsor, I'm probably looking at them and being like, well, I'm not really getting my money's worth. I'll throw you a little bit less money. So maybe that's a thing. But the biggest changes all happen in 2027. And these are the ones that I think people are going to be most passionate about. I think people can get over the rouge pretty quick on a missed field goal. I think they can get on board with a play clock that promotes consistency. But these ones are where we're going to see a lot of fans pissed off. I don't love these. I don't know if I hate. There's a couple I really don't like, though. We'll start with the goalposts. So the goalposts currently at the front of the end zone, they're going to move to the back of the end zone starting in 2027. Like I said, where was this in 2019 in the West Final?
CFL now stands for Cody Fajardo League.
Can we give some props to the Blue Bombers for their?
Oh, I don't want to. I found it
jokes.
hilarious, but no, I will
They're
not
so
give
That was funny.
Yeah, that was
That
really
was
good.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Sorry, carry on.
Especially with the literal resurrection of Dexter. That meme was on point. So
Yeah, that was
perfect.
fantastic. Excellent work by Bombers Admin. So go check out it's on Instagram, Facebook, or X, all that kind of stuff. They made a really good meme. It was awesome. But anyway, the idea of moving the goalpost back is to open it up more for offenses when you're driving down, so you don't have Nick Arbuckle, I think, or maybe it wasn't Arbuckle, it was another quarterback, had a ball glaze off the goalpost this past week. Dead ball, right? We saw that with Cody Fajardo. We've seen it happen dozens of times before. Supposed to promote more scoring. They say that the data shows it should increase touchdowns by 10%, which would be about 60 touchdowns a year. I don't buy that at all. I don't think moving the goalpost to the back of the end zone is going to give us 60 more touchdowns. That seems a little ridiculous to me.
Over 80 games is less than a touchdown a game. So
I don't think we're going to get that much, though.
I don't know. I haven't seen their math or their modeling, so I can't tell you if that's true or not. But really, if you break it down, that's still less than a touchdown per game. So it might not. Like I think if we model it over a year, it's going, oh, touchdowns are up. Oh, it must be because we moved the goalposts, or it could be shortening the field by quite a bit,
or because the field goal, like nobody's attempting field goals anymore.
Yeah, so yeah, you're not going to have Maltos kicking six and Sergio kicking 60-yard missiles. Like, well, you still can.
You will. They'll just be from the 30.
But when you're at the 35, all of a sudden you're thinking, hey, maybe we go for it.
So, like, I understand kind of their reasoning on it. If they just wanted to go, it's a player safety thing. I'm right there with you. I remember Jason Claremont as a U of R Ram running into the goalpost full steam because he wasn't paying attention on a crosser route. I get it.
I forget who I saw said this on social media. It was a former player, though, saying that they purposely ran plays by the look at it was the Riders Stampeders was it 2013 West Final, maybe? Chris Getzlaff ran an in towards the goalpost and just stopped.
Yeah,
and it was wide open for a touchdown. So it was
I guarantee you every team has at least one play where they use the goalpost as a pick.
Yep.
100%. Like, you plan for it. Like, it's part of the strategy. But the thing he led off with, which I had to crack up, was, and quite possibly the best interception ever made was obscured by the goalpost.
You couldn't see it because the goalpost. Well, get better cameras, okay? Put a camera on the goal line.
Well, when he said that, I'm like, are they actually going to go for more cameras? Yes, cameras everywhere. And I was like, no, we got to move the goalpost. Yeah.
Now there is something on this that I do like, and I hope that it forces defenses to adjust how they play.
Yeah.
And this also comes with the shortened end zone down to 15 yards instead of 20 yards. That god-awful zone defense that every friggin' team runs in the end zone. Hopefully that forces a little bit tighter coverage, and you don't leave guys sitting there wide open when the other team's at the 5-yard line. They literally just have to turn around and they got an automatic touchdown. Hopefully this forces a little bit of change just in that.
Oh, the Dalton Schoen touchdown from the Bomber Riders from Labor Day. Yeah, that one.
Yeah, honestly, exactly. Hopefully this forces that kind of a change so that we actually get defenses trying. But I think, again, that has a little bit more to do with shortening the end zones, which the end zones in 2027 will go from 20 yards to 15 yards. I don't mind that one. That one's fine to me. I like a 20-yard end zone. I think it's fun. It's unique. You can still run a full massive playbook from, the 5-yard line. That shrinks it down just a touch, not a lot, but still a little bit. But it does have the uniformity now across the league, where we have Montreal, who has that kind of that angled end zone. You have Toronto, whose end zones are only 18 yards or whatever they are. So now everybody's all on the same playing field, and ultimately that's the most fair thing that you can have is standardization. So I'm for that.
Once again, yes, but if they just did that, you would have everyone at the same. Like you said, BMO is 18 yards, whatever. I think it's 17 yards. Montreal, they've got those cut off ones. However, those aren't 5 yards deep. They could have just stopped there. So, yeah. So if it's about consistency, you're overselling it, because the next thing is the big one.
But if they did that, they wouldn't have space for all their cabanas, Greg. And you need football cabanas.
Okay, and yes, and okay, go with it, and then I'm going to get on my rant here, because we're building up to my rant. So
my favorite thing about that change and the one we're about to talk about, one of the big things was, hey, at least BMO Field won't need to use turf anymore, and they'll just have grass. The hilarious part is they will still have to use a portion of turf.
Yep.
If you're going to do it, go all out, because it's still going to look ridiculous in Toronto. They're still going to have a section of turf in their end zone, and it's hilarious to me. But we'll get into that again after the next awful point.
And that point being the shrinking of the field, going from 110 yards down to 100 yards. I hate this. This feels like it's just doing it for the sake of let's be more like American football. And
I will remember you.
I can put away the whole political climate that we're in right now when it comes to sports. But this feels like just doing something for the sake of doing something. There's no real reason to do this. I get it. 10 yards less for an offense to go promotes a little bit more scoring. Sure.
Wouldn't help Chris Streveler.
But it just feels like doing it for the sake of doing it, as almost a test to being like, okay, well, if that doesn't increase scoring, what will? An extra down?
Okay, this has nothing to do with scoring. This has nothing to do with scoring. You know what this is about? Stadiums. No one is going to build a stadium right now to fit a CFL field. You know what they will build? Soccer stadium, multi-use stadiums that will fit this new field in 2027. That's what this is about. They don't have to, like Halifax. Halifax has a soccer stadium.
Yeah.
Guess what? Expand it for football. They don't have to build a new one now. Like, go ahead.
I will say this. If that is the case and this change brings about a 10th CFL team, I will celebrate this change until the end of time. But it's not about that. It is 100% about the bottom line and that space in the end zones and them trying to make things
it's a combination
more American.
Of everything.
There's you can't tell me this is about the building. No, you're not going to see places build a stadium for CFL use or for CFL soccer use without that other professional team. If you get a place like Halifax, so like you said, that already has a CPL team and now might get a CFL team, then I can see it. But no
but
new market is going to do it for both.
No, and I agree. I agree, but you have better options with places that already have it. Like there's a lot of hell, even south of the border. And I know we don't want to talk about American expansion, but you can actually fit that field on a standard U.S. football field. So the factor, or any soccer field down south, like you could move a team to Minneapolis. They don't have to play where the Vikings play. There's a soccer field where the United used to play, just outside of St. Paul. Like there are places you can put that size field and erect uprights and can play. That's always the goofiest thing about the Canadian football field. It's a big, massive field. And there's not a lot of places you can put it unless you make it. As proven by when I got my crayons out, Mosaic Stadium, there's going to be a lot of room there now. Like, Commonwealth had a ton of room. Oof. It's got a lot of room now.
Imagine if you have the end zone tickets at Commonwealth. How far away you are from the field. Like, if you're at the back of the end zone at Commonwealth right now, how far away you are right now, shrink the field by 15 yards.
Like Larry Thompson is going to have to really rev up that fire truck to hit the Calgary Stampeders now. That's how far that is from the field. It is. To tell me that anyone is going to pay attention to the league because 110 yards, whew, that's a little too wacky. People don't understand that.
Drake meme, no, 110?
Yeah.
100.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Like, this has nothing to do with adding scoring. This has nothing to do with that. This is about trying to expand their markets, trying to do like with this now, you can actually do like a touchdown Minneapolis, touchdown Maine. Like you can try a game to the States if you really want to. You can try to expand your market this way. This is also, like I said, Halifax has a stadium. Victoria has a soccer stadium. They're trying to expand their revenue, which is fine. My problem is, and I don't know if I'm allowed to get my rant section yet, this is going to affect Canadian football from the CFL all the way down.
Well, go for it right now, because Scott McCauley, head coach of the Regina Thunder, he is not happy about these changes.
And he's right, because if you think about it, the promise of Mosaic Stadium when they built it, and this was Hobson's selling point, is this stadium is not about the Riders. Because everyone's like, why do I want my tax monies going for the Riders? Well, it's not about the Riders. This is for high school football. This is for university football. This is for Regina football. This is for the Regina Riot, our women's team. That is what they sold the facility on. That is what our tax money goes to. This is going to be for soccer and all the concerts that we've gotten since. Anyway. But now you're talking about changing the size of the field. There's a reason why the Riders logos are stitched in.
This is about
they're not painted on. They're stitched in. The Mosaic, who spent a 25-year contract, they're painted on. but the Riders are stitched in. The yard lines are stitched in right now, which means Mosaic by 2027 needs new turf.
Yeah, that's a major renovation.
At least Winnipeg was actually smart enough to not stitch in their numbers, so they've been painting their lines apparently for a while now. But yeah, so what's going to happen? Is U Sports going to change? Because Rams play at Mosaic, although I have to notice that they did play a game at Libel, which seems very.
They have a couple games at Mosaic, a couple games at Libel this year.
Yeah, so I wonder if someone kind of gave them a heads up, going, "Hey, you might want to try moving more games to Libel," because typically they've always played at Mosaic.
Mm-hmm.
High school football plays at Mosaic.
Yep.
Are they going to switch to follow the new rules? It's McGill, U of C in Calgary, at McMahon. Like, yeah, a lot of these CFL teams are the only tenant, but some aren't. So who's paying for this? I saw someone try to say, well, they should dig in the dugouts like SoFi has in the end zones now. Who's paying for that upgrade? It better not be me. Better not be you.
I know that as a taxpayer, it's
It ain't going to be for high school football. So at the end of the day, I guess it's going to be season ticket holder money because if the riders are paying for it, either way, I guess it's coming out of my pocket. But the fact remains is these rules are going to affect grassroots football because now you have the U Sports and CJFL and high school all trying to go, well, what rules are we playing by? Are we playing 110 yards? Or are we not? So is this going to become a single-use facility for football? The fact that the apparently they did not talk to anyone. I've heard from a very good source that basically Football Saskatchewan did not find out about this until 9 minutes before the announcement went out. I've been told there's a ton of NDAs that went out. Although it seems like everyone on TSN knew what the hell was going on because they were all teasing it. So
yeah, but they're not thinking of that though. They're not thinking of
no. I understand that they are thinking about the CFL game, but the fact remains, but the fact
and
remains,
that's their job.
And that's their job. I get that. This is not a TSN thing. I'm just when Stuart Johnson goes, the reason why we're not moving this to 2027 is so we can talk to the stakeholders and the grassroots to see what can be done. And I'm like, you basically came in, flipped a table, and said, now what are you going to do about it? It seems very short-sighted. And the fact that apparently no one from the CFLPA knew about this, the coaches apparently didn't know about this. I get you want to make bold moves as in your first 150 days as a commissioner. And the board of governors obviously had to sign off on all this. It just feels like there probably should have been more communication.
Well, and here's something on that too is regardless of whatever the rule changes were going to be, we know, the hardcore fans know that the commissioner is literally just the talking head for the board of governors. The board of governors vote on stuff. The commissioner comes out and makes the announcement. It might have been their idea in the first place, but they don't vote on it, right? It's each team's board of governors that vote on it. Stuart Johnston, since taking over this job in April, whatever it was, has largely been invisible. We haven't seen anything from this guy at all.
I've seen at least 3 times at Rider games coming up the stairs by my seats. That's the most.
Yeah. He's around, but in national media, he's nowhere to be found.
No.
Randy Ambrosi, whether you like him or you don't, he was easily accessible. He was around. You saw him often. You do not see Stuart Johnston at all. So his first move as commissioner really are these rules. This is either going to be his greatest success and will define his career, or it will be the beginning of his end and will define his career.
Here's the problem. There's no going back.
No. And Dave Naylor pointed out too that when he got hired on, he was hired on to shake things up, that the board wanted to shake things up.
Well, they've done that.
So, but this is also something that the board can pass on and be like, oh yeah, that guy, we didn't like what he did. So we'll just bring a new commissioner on at some other point. Yeah, we didn't like this guy. Voted no confidence. They can easily do that if they wanted to. With the new board, with all the new owners and whatnot, that's probably not going to happen. But just saying, for somebody who has been not visible and And keep in mind, again, that political landscape that we're in right now, Canada, US, okay, more people supporting Canadian product more than ever before, not
They
buying
dusted
American
off the
product.
radically Canadian shirts.
The
They
CFL
brought
has
those
had
out of mothballs.
the CFL has had how many months to jump on this? You saw what happened in February with the frickin' NHL All-Star tournament. It was an all-star tournament. It meant nothing, this Four Nations Cup. And it exploded because of exactly what's going on in politics right now. And the NHL capitalized on it. They kind of lucked into that spot once Trump won the presidency, right? But they milked it. Brilliant to make a lot of money. At a time where Canadians are supporting Canadian stuff more than ever, the CFL, what are they doing? Going more American. That is bold. And it's a choice. Now,
Bold or bull? Because
it's
Yes.
yes,
it's a choice. I'll say that. I don't think it's the right choice, the right time. I think there's a time for potentially doing these rules. This might not be the best one. And you look at some of the reactions online where people are just like, that's it, I'm done. This is the Canadian Football League. You're moving it to, American rules. And it's this first step towards being a 4-down game and basically being, NFL junior. They're done. People are done with this. And they're going to stop spending money. So you have people now that are threatening to not spend money anymore. You are going to alienate a fan base here. You are. And you're going to lose some revenue from that. The problem I have with this whole thing is there anybody to step in and start buying tickets to games? People aren't buying tickets to games as it is. There's nobody that's willing to step up and buy tickets right now that aren't already going. All these rule changes, they're not going to sell a single ticket. No one's going to look and be like, oh, hey, the Riders are in town today. Oh, but hey, it's only a 100-yard field. Let's go see that game. Nobody's thinking that. Are you kidding me?
No, but there are people who, if they see a 45-43 score last week, they're going to go out. And if these changes do bring about an increase in offense, which is what they're ultimately going for, then you will see an increased attendance. As much as we love a good defensive battle, the average fan wants to see touchdowns and fireworks and scoring. That is what brings eyes to a game, at least in the beginning. And I think that's their general idea is if we can get high-scoring football games, people are going to pay attention.
A 50-yard field would not have made that Red Blacks Bombers game any better. So don't tell me taking 10 yards off of it would it. Like, my God, like,
on a shorter field, we're still going to have bad football.
Yes. And it's going to happen. Yep. Like, no game is perfect. I get that. But these rules, it's going to add, it's going to add 60 more touchdowns. And like, you don't know that. And all you're doing is making people mad. And yes, the league needs changes. I love this league with its warts and all. I get it. But some of these changes, like I said, you're selling me something when I know it's not. Like, you are not like making that field that much shorter just so you can go, oh, it's going to increase productivity. So you're shortening the field, and you're shortening the end zones, which makes it less field to cover, which makes it better in the defense. So you're really not helping. But the good news is they realize girth matters because they're leaving the field as wide as it is.
That was important. Yeah, it's not the length of the field.
It's not about length, guys. It's about girth. Remember that.
It's about how wide it is. Yes. Absolutely.
What is wrong with you two?
I almost forgot to get
the
that
list
in.
is 110 yards long.
I do want to touch on one thing that, Greg, that you did bring up earlier that I think is getting lost, at least from a rider perspective, that could see some success at least for the stadium itself. And removing the stitched lines and the stitched end zones and forcing the team to re-turf, which they'll have to, There is no way around that with how they did it. I'm personally hoping that they don't stitch it again and that they can bring in a CPL team into Saskatchewan, or bring in more events that you can't do right now because of what they did with that turf and that field. So there is some silver lining for the local sports scene in the long run if they do manage to bring in those events.
I am old enough to remember when they announced that stadium and what they were going to do with it. Those lines weren't supposed to be stitched.
Mhm.
And then when they showed up to put the field in, they stitched everything in. Because I remember soccer parents being very, very upset with that.
Yep. Before we move on, because we do have to move on here with the time, there is some other stuff we're going to talk about. Nathan Rourke teed off on this in his media availability on Monday after practice, calling these rules garbage. Now, whether you agree with him or not, he will get fined. Yes.
Yes, he will.
And he deserves it. That's fine. Now, I like some of the rules. I dislike some of them. I like some of what Nathan Rourke said. I dislike some of what Nathan Rourke said. All of that aside, I love that the face of this league, and yes, the league is pushing him to be the face of this league. Canadian quarterback, why would you not want that to be, your franchise guy, right? I love that he was so passionate about it. Yep. And this was a guy who, yes, did try the NFL and was there for a while and played their rules and has come back and now playing our rules again. I love that he was so passionate about it. Whether you agree with him or not, he shared his opinion. He didn't toe the company line. And to me, I think he deserves some kudos for that. Good for this guy who, when you're probably going to see some very cliche remarks from Trevor Harris on Tuesday, first day after practice. I'm willing to bet you're probably going to hear that. And that's the Riders franchise guy, right? Like, he's probably going to toe the company line, which you kind of expect from those guys. For this guy, Nathan Rourke, to go out and be adamant against it and hate it and show the passion that he did in that scrum, I love that. I absolutely love that. And I don't agree with everything that he said, but that's exactly what we need. We need guys in this league like Nathan Rourke that give a damn.
I will say this, after he put up 86 points for me in CFL Fantasy, Nathan Rourke can say whatever the hell he wants this week.
Thanks for kicking the crap out of Calgary, Nathan. Appreciate that.
Right?
Definitely do.
He's golden right now.
But I also think you're going to see probably I think a lot of the Americans are going to go, okay, whatever, I really don't care. I think you are going to see the Canadians that grew up on the game, that played the game from a young age at that style, probably be a little more fired up. And obviously Nathan was one of them. So.
It was a very real, very raw reaction, and I love that. That's the way it should be.
But like I said, the fact remains is that the CFL did not discuss it with their own stakeholders is kind of telling.
That's a problem.
Yeah. And I will give Stuart Johnson a little credit. He responded to Nathan Rourke pretty quickly, basically saying, I will gladly sit down and explain why we made these changes to Nathan Rourke. He didn't hide behind or hide away from the comments he made or ignore them, which we would have seen from people in the past. For all his faults, Johnson is meeting this conversation head on. He's been across the league in media. He was on Green Zone and Sports Cage today. I'm sure he's been doing media hits in every CFL market. So, I mean, respect him for that much. But I love what Nathan Rourke said. I love that he had the guts to say it. And, like you said, he will get fined for it. But I hope he's not the only one. I'd love to see the honest responses from any player across the league, whether they agree with these moves or not. I want to know their true feelings on it, not what they've been told or paid to say.
Which is why I won't take any stake into what I hear coming from Mosaic Stadium on Tuesday.
Come on, Mitch Picton, you're my only hope.
Well, we'll leave it there for the rules. That's the opening kickoff presented by Kathy Festian of Royal LePage Next Level. We'll get to some Rider news in a little bit because there is a little bit. But let's get to remember that guy sponsored by District 306, Regina's Tactical Laser Tech Experience. Greg, you're going to pick a player from Rider history, give us some hints, and we have to guess who it is. I got on the very last one last week with Diamond Fairy.
And I'm not going to lie, with everything that was happening today and me getting out my crayons, I almost forgot to do this. So this is probably like a 2 Van Stone.
Okay. Well, let's remember that guy.
This Bethune Cookman Wildcat is a 3-time All-American.
Darius Bladek.
No.
Damn.
Did I go to Bethune Cookman? I did not know
I think
that.
so.
It supposedly earned the nickname Shakespeare for his performances on and off the field.
Yeah, that's Stevie Bags.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, that's easy. The Shakespeare part, that one was easy. Sorry.
Yeah, I told you it was a 2. Was a lion, a jaguar, bomber, Eskimo, predator, cardinal, tie-cat, raven, and stamp. 23 sacks, and I figured you were going to get on this one if you didn't get it on Shakespeare. 26 sacks, but has 27 acting roles. Has written 2 books. Was on the reality show Match. Yeah, was on the reality show Match Made in Heaven.
Yeah, I remember that.
And made a very good argument for having more than one nominee for an award per team. Because that year, like, you could flip a coin and you weren't going to be wrong on which one you were going to nominate.
That was 2009, right? Him and John Chick. That D line was unreal, and you could make a serious argument that Stevie Bags should have been the nominee for defensive player. Had more sacks than Chick that year, and that's kind of the glory stat, right? So that's what a lot of pundits look at. I wish I had a good story.
They were.
I wish I had a good story about Stevie Bags. I got nothing.
His career after he stopped playing football, I was like going through his filmography. I'm like, holy crap! Like, what the hell?
Because from here he went to Edmonton after, right? Is that where he was after?
Yes. Yep.
His play drastically dropped. Like, he was okay for a little bit, but like it dropped significantly.
No, sorry. I was Edmonton before he came here.
Okay.
And then in 2008, he was both with the Orlando Predators and with us. In 2009, he played with us. In 2010, he went to Arizona Cardinals, and then went to Hamilton.
Right. Yeah, and it was in Hamilton.
And had the post NFL drop off that we see.
Yeah, and then he was in Hamilton in 2011 as well. Then 2012, Baltimore gave him a shot, and then in 2012, he ended up in Calgary for 2012 and 2013.
I don't remember him with the Stamps.
Stamps fans probably don't remember him with the Stamps.
Yeah, he had one hell of a run here in Saskatchewan in 2009. Him and John Chick, they were unstoppable. The chicken bags.
I remember seeing him on Cobra Kai going, is that Stevie Bags? It was Stevie Bags.
He was on Cobra Kai.
He's on Cobra Kai.
Oh, really?
That's awesome.
Oh, like one episode.
Good for him.
This has been watching that religiously, so I've never seen an episode of it, but I'll have to bring that up with them when we're done recording. I had no idea.
All right. Well, Stevie Bags on Remember That Guy. Sponsored by District 306, Regina's Tactical Laser Tech Experience. Some actual Rider news. There is some. It's time for the Churchill Brewing Company odds and end zones. We were going to do our quarter century team for Real Edition, but we'll do that later this week in the articles. We'll do it quick next week. Something came up, okay? That was a little bit more important to talk about on the show.
Yeah, blame Stuart Johnston. This is his fault.
Yeah.
What a jerk. At least they did this on Monday, not on Tuesday, so we didn't spend an entire episode on not that news.
If the Riders were in charge, I'm telling you, they would do it the day after.
No yeah, Craig's like, is Piffles out yet? No, okay, we got to hold off. Stuart, hold off until Piffles is out.
Yeah. Craig, you can make your announcement on Tuesday this week instead of Wednesday about signings. Signings. With the practice roster expanding, Riders making some moves over the last week. A new punter, Jesse Mirko.
We have 3 punters and no backup defensive backs.
Hey,
Mirko,
we still got Kerfala Exame. Oh, right. No defensive backs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hopefully not for long. Not in the defensive backfield anyway. He can stay on in special teams, but that's it.
Yeah.
Mirko was a 2025 global draft pick. So,
The other one.
yeah, the other one.
Because we signed the other one too.
Yeah.
Wow, we got both of our draft picks.
Yeah.
Curious if that's ever happened before to other teams.
And they're both not
Who
kickers.
wants 3 punchers on the roster?
Offensive lineman Spencer Brown brought in American D lineman Kevin Orange Jr. The only thing I've seen about him is very similar body type and build to Matthew Betts, but supposed to be just a little bit faster. And Betts has been on fire the last couple of weeks. So here's hoping. Kevin Orange. Oh, hey, speaking of Orange.
So you're saying Orange is the new Betts? No?
No, I'm not saying that.
Where's that boo audio?
Yeah, where's the boo sound effect? Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah,
forgot
now.
we got sound effects now.
Yeah, there you go.
I deserve that. That's fine.
But leading in with Kevin Orange, and you guys were supposed to remind me.
Yeah, we failed.
Yeah, and you failed. What we're going to do with obviously the next week is Truth and Reconciliation Day. We have one of these beautiful orange shirts from the Riders. We're going to give that away. So stay tuned to our socials, specifically X and Facebook. We'll put that up on there this week, and we'll pick a winner by, I think, Friday. We'll do a draw. So just stay tuned to the socials. Just find us on Facebook or X and enter in for your chance to win a beautiful orange shirt from the Riders. And we'll get that out to you.
With that great Indigenous logo on it as well.
Yeah. And I think we might have, I don't have them in front of me, but we have a couple of the flags that they gave away at community night, the preseason game this year.
Yep.
Maybe we'll throw one of those in there as well too. So stay tuned for the socials for that. And one other defensive lineman was signed by the Riders, Chico Bennett Jr., my second favorite Chico in Saskatchewan.
In Saskatchewan, that seems very specific.
Chico Resch is the other.
When I hear Chico, all I think is Razor Ramon.
Yeah, my third favorite Chico overall, but Chico Resch grew up here in Regina, has great stories about going to football games and walking home in his pee-pee pants when it was minus 40 out in the winter. Fantastic story, unbelievable story, hilarious. But one of the nicest guys I've ever talked to in my life, Chico Resch, goalie in the NHL in the 70s and 80s. Was on those Islanders dynasty teams. Won a couple Stanley Cups with them.
I completely forgot about him until you just like,
yeah.
oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Still, I think he's still doing New Jersey Devils games as an analyst. But just a fantastic storyteller. So if this guy is half as cool as Chico Resch, Chico Bennett Jr., then I'm a fan. There was actually significant news by the Riders.
Huge news, actually, for people who've been asking for a while.
Yeah. Last week, emails got sent out about season ticket holder renewals. And in that email was a blurb about potential tailgating at Mosaic Stadium in 2026. That's what they should do with that extra.
I was going to say, just move the tailgate to the end zone and we're fine.
Tons of room there now.
There we go.
Possibly. The team is working with the Saskatchewan government to get tailgating a thing in Saskatchewan in 2026. So the fact that they actually put that in the email,
it means like they're on like the 1 yard line.
They're pretty much there. They're just waiting for SIGA basically to sign off on it.
Are they on the 1 yard line with? Are they on the 1 yard line with Tommy Stevens or years past? Because that is very significant information.
I believe it's with Tommy Stevens because you don't put that out there if you don't think it's happening, especially in your season ticket renewal email.
Yeah. So season ticket holders would have the first chance to get to buy a spot for this, but if we can get tailgating back in Saskatchewan, and like it kind of was but wasn't a thing about 15, 20 years ago. We did kind of have it. And it just kind of tapered down. And then obviously, they cracked down on it and laws shut it down. But this would be a huge thing for the riders, and to just have people doing that, make that whole experience, the whole game day, not just, game hours, make it a game day experience. You're not going to have everybody doing it, obviously, but if you can start building something, like you go look at some of the tailgates you see in the NFL, like it's special. Now, do I hope people are jumping through tables? Yes, I do, because I want to see that happen. I won't be the one jumping through, but I will absolutely encourage people to do it. So I hope that
we
the
would need our
tailgating
own
spot is
thing.
open, so I can go
We can't
around.
do what the Bills do. Come on.
Well, they can. I don't know.
They'll jump through watermelons.
Yeah, crack watermelons on their heads or something like that. Concuss themselves. I'm here for it.
I laugh when I posted this on Twitter. I had a Bombers fan reply to me going, "Welcome to the 1990s." Yes, we know. We've been asking for this for almost 20 years.
20
Thanks
years.
for pointing that out. This is not the fans didn't want this. This was, we could not do this. It was illegal. We are thrilled now. Make this happen.
Yep.
I don't think other provinces understand how restrictive our liquor licenses liquor rules are in Saskatchewan, despite us having a very good beer culture. But that's beside the point. The good news is the riders, because the party in the park was supposed to be the riders' version of tailgating. I think they've realized it's not sufficient. So if they could make a few extra scratch selling parking spots essentially to tailgate in, it makes sense.
I can tell you this will have more of an effect on attendance if they do it than all of the changes that the CFL made today.
100%.
Period.
Yep. Absolutely.
Like, I enjoy the tailgate. Obviously, the Winnipeg one is the only CFL one I've ever attended. I wandered through a Vikings one when I went to go see the Patriots play in Mini. So it definitely adds to the atmosphere. It's awesome. Like the Turf District has at the Edmonton tailgate has their own booth, and they have a menu every game.
They go all out.
It's wild what you can do with it if you allow it to, because you create a community that way, and that's important. If you create a community, it will just keep on bringing people out. That's the nice thing about old Mosaic or Taylor Field, is you had your season ticket holders that you were around, you knew each other, you had your family. And I'm not saying Mosaic is different, but it's not the same.
Different. It's a little different.
It's still not the people. Yeah, it's still not the people that I was around all the time. Like, I found I was closer to the ones at the old girl than I am at the ones now.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, find new ways to create communities. That's how you build a fan base.
Well, look what happens every time we go out to Winnipeg. We always go to the same 2 or 3 tailgates, and it's always the same 15, 20, 30 people hanging around that one spot, and they're always there, and it's always these different groups, and you get them all together every game. It's like you said, it's a great way to build a community, a great way to get people out to the game and amp the place up ahead of kickoff. All of those are good things.
So hopefully they can punch in that 1-yard touchdown, little QB sneak to get us tailgating in 2026. We won't go into the Bombers, Red Blacks, Lions stamps. We don't have time for that. I wanted to, but we won't. Regina Thunder.
Just say Calgary. That's good.
Yeah, okay. And also, sorry, is Bobby Dice trying to get fired? Is he trying to get fired?
He wants that sweet, sweet severance.
There's I don't think Drew Brown's a legitimate franchise guy. I don't think he's a QB1. I think
neither is Chris Streffler, but at least Drew Brown threw for 400 yards.
How bad is Terry Wilson if they're not willing to put him out when Chris Streffler is playing like that?
Just ask Zach from Bonfire.
There you go.
Still the best rant I've heard since I went off. No, better than when I went off on Al Bradbury.
It might be better.
There's no might. There's no might. That was infinitely better.
At least for longevity, anyway. You came out like a firework, but he literally was a bonfire. He just kept burning.
Regina Thunder.
They really riders that one.
A wild win in Winnipeg on Sunday. What was it, 41-40 or 42-41?
41-40.
41-40, yeah. Beating Winnipeg Rifles. The Thunder were up by 7.
They were up by more. They were up 10-0, and then it was tied in it going into half at 17s. And then they went up 34-20. And then here come the Rifles. Like, their quarterback threw for almost 500 yards. Like, he was throwing all over the place because he had to, because they were behind. And the Rifles scored with 35 seconds left on the clock.
An extra point would have tied the game.
Extra point would tie the game. They elected to go for 2.
Yes, love it. Yes. Especially
Bold move, Cotton.
Against a team, you're the underdog in that game, even though you're at home. Go for it. Absolutely.
Here's the problem. They tried that earlier, and it didn't go anywhere. And they tried it again, and it didn't go anywhere. Here's the other thing, though. They tried once prior, tried going for it, penalty came in, decided to kick the field goal, the extra point, got it, and then they took the penalty on the kick, and then their kicker literally booted it through the end zone. He didn't bounce, he kicked it. So they probably could have went for the single, but Jordy Wilson, I think, outcoached himself on that one. They probably could have won it by going for the single and going for trying to kick the Rouge, which won't exist in a couple of years.
Wouldn't happen in 2027. Take advantage of it now, I guess. But anyway,
hey, this week, Hilltops.
Yeah, Thunder in Saskatoon playing the Toppers. Both teams are 5-1, right?
5-1. Winner this game most likely ends up being first place in the division.
Yep.
Well, they will for the short term, and then there's games next week after the bye week. But yeah, winner this game probably controls the final. So it's going to be good. And considering it was a 3-point game last time, she's winner take all.
And it's Saturday, right?
7 p.m. Saturday, 7 p.m. SMF Field. I will be there tweeting my fingers off.
All right. Well, also on Saturday, a little bit earlier than that, is the Riders at Elks. And let's get to our enemy preview presented by Creasy's Premium Home Leisure Jacuzzi Spas. Riders Elks, Saturday at 5. We're recording on Monday. We haven't seen a thing from the team regarding player updates. We're going to see that on Tuesday, obviously, after this show is released. But the big thing is the injuries. Who's back? Who's available for the Riders? Last game against Montreal, Malik Carney got hurt. Shane Ray got hurt. Now, the good thing about Malik Carney is they had him doing he had a Rider Store signing on Saturday. He was doing a couple other things as well, too. So good news there. You're probably not going to put the injured guy out there doing those things in season. So hopefully he's going to be available for this game. Shane Ray, the way that he was, holding that arm, that wrist, I don't think he'll be playing this game. So that'll be something to watch. The defensive backfield, that's going to be the big one. Who's back for this one? Obviously, after sitting Tavon Campbell and Marcus Sales last week as game time decisions, that'll be the big thing this week. Again, Sales was doing a bunch of those. He did that the mile walk in her shoes. I think he did that with Roland Milligan. I can't imagine they would put him out there doing that if he was not good to go. So I fully expect Sales to be in for this game. Tavon Campbell is the question mark here.
I mean, both were game time decisions, if I remember correctly, for the Montreal game. With the bye week and a week and a half away from the city, I can't imagine they both won't be good to go. You need one back for sure, because if you're playing again with Kerfala Exume back there,
I
stand all my money on Edmonton at that point.
What's that red wine guy doing? Is he playing?
I stand by if Edmonton didn't win that game, at least one of them played, and it probably was going to be Sales. So I think we're going to be fine going into this game. But the big thing is they got to stop the run game. Rankin runs like he's mad at the field.
He's having one hell of a year for Edmonton and receiving out of the backfield too, catching those checkdowns and big time plays. Like he had a 72-yard touchdown last week. He had a 90-yard touchdown the week before, 2 weeks before. Yeah. Like he's having monster plays. This guy's one hell of a player. So to me, that's what it is. It's stop Justin Rankin, full stop. Like that's the game plan.
And the key to that is getting Malik Carney and Shane Ray back. We saw what this defensive line can do against some top runners to start the season. They were unbeatable as a defensive line. Getting them all healthy again, getting them back against a guy like Rankin. And that's not to say Javon Leake also isn't a threat every time he touches the ball. That's two solid guys in the backfield. And we know Cody Fajardo likes to run every now and again. You just got to stop his little rollout to the blind side.
He does that less and less
blind
now.
rollout.
I had to look it up.
Out time.
When we played them at home here, they only had 25 rushing yards. 20 of those were Cody. 5 were Javon Leake. Justin Rankin had 0.
This is a much different team, though.
It is a much different team now, but I'm just saying you can hold them in check.
Well, and Edmonton had 3 plays that entire game.
Yeah.
They were terrible. And then 3 plays, and all of a sudden they had a chance to, come back and tie it at the end. So that was more so on the Riders than anything else in my mind.
Yeah, Cody threw for 346 that game. Like he had a decent enough game.
That fourth quarter, he put up probably about 200 of them.
Probably.
I remember week 4, week 5, if we would have been looking ahead to the schedule, Edmonton was an easy free space on the bingo card, but they are an absolutely different team with Cody Fajardo back there. He has revitalized that team. They have suddenly emerged as a potential, if not a playoff contender, at least a dark horse to cause some damage going into the West.
No, yeah,
I think last week kind of hit them in the butt, but they're still one of those teams that can absolutely cause some damage as you go through the last 5 weeks of the year to the rest of the West.
I stand by if they started Cody week 1, they'd probably play
absolutely.
Right now. However, the last 2 weeks, they dropped 2 games they should have won in the last minute.
Well, walk-off field goals in both games.
Exactly.
Toronto and Hamilton.
Yeah, like
one, and then the Julian Grant drop in before their little run there was another one that they should have won. They could easily be, what are they, 5-9? They could easily be 8-6, and nobody would question it.
Yep.
So they're not a team you can look past anymore. They're a legitimate squad that's just had a few bad bounces that, bad football teams, those bad bounces happen.
But Cody Fajardo says that they're frustrated, and obviously they are with, how the last couple games have ended. But how deflated are they? And that psyche, if you can take advantage of that, if you're the Riders, because they're basically all but out of the playoffs now. They basically need to run the table and get help in the final 5 weeks of the season to get, third place. Even just a crossover, they need a hell of a lot of help to get a crossover too. So, I mean, things are looking pretty grim for them in the standings wise. So take advantage of that psyche, just that little mental advantage you might have on them. And then maybe we'll see Samuel Emlis back. I think he has one more game on the 6th game, or is he eligible for this one?
I think he's eligible this game, isn't he?
I think he's eligible.
If he's eligible, and I have an article scheduled to come out on Tuesday. What to do with all the returning receivers when Emlis and Keen Schaefer-Baker, if Keen Schaefer-Baker comes back. All of a sudden, we saw last week they switched the ratio on the receivers and took Joe Robustelli off. Is that the plan going forward? Because now all of a sudden, Robustelli's off the roster. Sean Bain sure ain't getting on the roster right now. You have, which Canadians are taken off the roster for KSB and Emlis. Immediately, Emlis comes on and Picton's back off the roster.
Yep.
Then you have, is it Del Duncan Busby or is it Tommy Neild? And which one comes off? Which one's going to be the backup? Because Joe kind of has that spot starting spot locked down. He had 95 yards in the last game. You're probably not going to sit him. They love his blocking.
Well, especially with his blocking alone. Like, you want him out there.
So he's got a starting spot locked down. So does Emilus. That leaves the other one. And let's say Kean Schaefer-Baker is back in a week or two, whatever it is. Does he get a starting spot back? I'm not sold on that right now. So I go through that in the article. It's scheduled to come out on Tuesday. So it'll be along with this episode. But it'll be interesting to see at least who's back for the Riders going into the stretch run here, because now comes time where let's get all these bodies healthy and playing our best football in these final few weeks going into the playoffs. So home playoff game clinching numbers 1, I believe. So we might even have that home playoff game clinched before we take the field on Saturday.
Yeah, we're the last game, so I hope so.
And hopefully a loss by Calgary.
I don't know. The last time we clinched anything before our game didn't go so well. So maybe let's hold off and get the win.
Yeah. Well, they're 5-1 on the road, so they're looking pretty good on away from Mosaic this year. So hopefully they get that done.
And they'll be wearing the Indigenous logo. So
yep, that'll look great on the helmets, man. They look great last week for all the teams playing too. Like, they just look phenomenal. All right, one last thing to do on the show. Time to see if Greg can get a game right this week. It's time
I
for
got one right, didn't I?
Oh, you went a big old 0-4 last week.
I think I went 0. It's got me as 0-4 in the standings.
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't.
Oh,
there's no way I did.
Steve went 0-4. Whatever.
I
know I didn't go 0-4. I went like 2-2. I think.
I also didn't go 0-4.
Whatever. We'll deal with
I think Alex is fudging the numbers here.
Yeah, we'll deal with this on the other side.
Piffles picks.
Well, folks, when you're right 52% of the time, you're wrong 48% of the time.
Yeah, I went 2-2. I know I did better than both of you two. I was better than you two. I'm like,
Steve, you picked Montreal wrong. You picked Calgary wrong. You picked Ottawa wrong, and you picked Hamilton over Edmonton for the spread, which they did not cover. Greg got that one right.
So I got Montreal and Hamilton right, just not the spread. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. I didn't look at the spreads because I got your message to do my picks and race down and flip a coin. I didn't even look at who the spreads were or what the spreads were.
Not that it would have mattered.
It shouldn't matter if you're flipping a coin.
But this week, no spreads out yet.
There is no spreads because there's no spreads out there.
So luckily for us, by recording a day early, we get to pick them on every single game. So let's go. First game, Friday night, Calgary at Montreal. Something I'm going to be tuned into. Hopefully Davis Alexander is back and can do us a favor. What the condition of Vernon Adams is, I'm not sure. PJ Walker sure ain't playing. He's done for the year. Calgary might be in a lot of trouble in their quarterback situation if Vernon Adams can't go this game.
That's where I'm at right now. Like, I wish I knew it was playing for both teams right now.
For that reason, anyway, I'm going Montreal.
I'm taking Montreal too. It's still a game out in Montreal. It still gets wacky. So,
is the game in Montreal?
In Montreal.
It is.
Damn, I got Calgary.
Second game, Toronto at BC.
Oh, Death Star mode by BC.
Yeah, I'll take BC in this one.
Oh, good. Okay, I might get one right. I mean, I hope I'm wrong, on that one too.
Yeah, so am I. But
another wild card of a game.
I hope I go 0-2.
Depending on what you pick, I hope you go in 3. Hamilton at Winnipeg.
Hamilton's got to win this one, right?
Don't know if, well, you'd think so. Is Zach Laros playing? Who knows? We don't know yet.
Hamilton for me.
I'm taking the Ticats, even if Caleros is in.
And finally, in a pick
Saskatchewan, I'm just taking the.
I'm on board with the Riders here too. So,
well, I hope I go 1-3. I got Edmonton.
Don't we all? Don't we all?
Hey, I'll be thrilled if I drop farther behind in the pick'em.
I'm riding that 52% line.
Oh yeah, you're 32-30 on the year. I am. You're
I'm
skewing
only
this.
8 games under 100 or under 500.
Only.
In fairness,
Only.
the coin has been going over 500. It's just I started off
Yeah, you started off really
3 and 12.
Might have been worse than that.
God, that was
actually.
bad. Yeah, it was. It was definitely worse
It was
because
very
I
bad.
lost 10 in a row.
Yeah, that
Yep.
was what forced the
Like-
coin.
Yeah, because I literally couldn't do worse with a coin.
Last
That's
week
true.
here.
I hope I do worse this week.
I hope so too.
Yes.
We'll leave it there, and we'll be back next week talking about hopefully a home playoff game being clinched by the Riders with a win in Edmonton. Piffles Podcast is brought to you by our great friends at Dairy Queen on Elphinstone Street and Sass Drive in Regina. Special thanks, of course, go to Kathy Festian of Royal LePage Next Level, Churchill Brewing Company, District 306, Regina's tactical laser tag experience, Bigfoot Vodka, and Creasy's Premium Home Leisure Jacuzzi Spas for their support making the show possible. Thanks for listening wherever you get your pods, watching on SaskTel Max TV on demand or on YouTube. We appreciate it. Thank you. Go Riders. This is Ghost Behind Your Mind by Tyler Gilbert.
Thank you for being such a big supporter and fan of the CFL and myself personally.